Welcome to the Restricted Handling Podcast. This is what's been going on in China in the past 24 hours. We've got some big updates out of China today. Let's start with the one making the most noise. The U.S. just confirmed that it's moving forward with that massive $11 billion weapons sale to Taiwan we mentioned earlier this week. This deal isn't just talk. It's formally been notified to Congress. The package includes HIMARS rocket launchers, M109A7 self-propelled howitzers, and over 2,000 Javelin anti-tank missiles. Basically, everything Taiwan would need to make life miserable for an invading force. Taipei's thanking Washington like it's Christmas morning, while Beijing is fuming. China's foreign ministry called the sale an act of sabotage and said it pushes the Taiwan Strait toward catastrophe. And right on cue, the Fujian, China's newest and flashiest aircraft carrier, is back in the headlines. We talked yesterday about how it cruised through the Taiwan Strait for the first time since being commissioned. Today, we've got new details. Taiwan's defense ministry released higher-resolution aerial imagery showing the ship's flight deck empty, confirming there were no carrier-based aircraft deployed during the transit. Officials in Taipei now believe the Fujian was heading north for sea trials and calibration, not combat readiness. Still, the timing, coming just hours after the U.S. arms sale, feels like Beijing wanted to make a visual point. We see you, and we're not blinking. Meanwhile, Japan's patience with Beijing is wearing thinner than rice paper. Yesterday, we talked about Tokyo's outrage over Chinese radar lock-ons targeting Japanese fighters. Today, Japan officially filed a diplomatic protest, calling the act a deliberate and dangerous escalation. China's sticking to its story that Japan provoked the incident, but it's clear this is now part of a larger regional pattern. And to make things even spicier, the U.S. Navy's USS Seawolf, one of its most advanced attack submarines, quietly pulled into Yokosuka this week. That's the third nuclear-powered sub to make a port call in Japan in just over a month. Call it coincidence if you want, but it sure feels like Washington's sending a reminder that the Pacific isn't Beijing's backyard just yet. Now let's talk tech warfare, because this next piece could reshape the entire global semiconductor chessboard. Remember China's top-secret Manhattan project for chips we mentioned? Well, insiders are saying the Shenzhen team's prototype of an EUV lithography machine, the crown jewel of chip manufacturing, is now generating extreme ultraviolet light consistently for the first time. It's still not printing working chips, but that's a huge leap forward. What's wild is how they pulled it off. Reverse engineering Western technology with the help of former ASML engineers, some reportedly working under false identities. China's government is aiming for full-scale production by 2028, but engineers on the project say 2030 is more realistic. Either way, if they succeed, it's game over for Western export controls. And Huawei, which is already neck-deep in the project, would become the center of a new semiconductor ecosystem entirely outside U.S. reach. In the diplomatic corridors, China's also trying to show that it can play good cop when it wants to. The Commerce Ministry announced new general licenses to speed up rare earth exports. These are the minerals that make electric cars, magnets, and missile guidance systems work. The timing's convenient. Ford suppliers in the U.S. reportedly got early approvals. Beijing says it's about efficiency and modernization, but it's also about leverage. It's showing Washington that if you play nice, the global supply chain keeps humming. At the same time, there's a strange subplot developing in India. After years of frozen relations, New Delhi's now easing visa restrictions on Chinese engineers and factory specialists. That means Chinese technicians will be back inside Indian manufacturing plants, especially electronics and solar factories, by early next year. This move follows Modi's meeting with Xi earlier this year, and while it's being sold as a business efficiency step, it's really about India's bottom line. After years of visa freezes, Indian industries lost billions because Chinese experts couldn't service the very machines they built. It's a quiet, pragmatic reset between two rivals who can't quite afford to stay mad at each other. Now, remember that lawsuit China filed against Missouri yesterday, the one demanding $50 billion over COVID-related defamation? There's an update. Missouri's Attorney General just announced she's moving to seize Chinese-owned real estate in the state to satisfy the earlier $24 billion judgment Missouri won. The new Chinese suit in Wuhan's courts is officially moving forward, but Missouri's not waiting around. This legal knife fight is quickly becoming an international test case for sovereign immunity. One side's wielding political theater, the other's testing how far American courts can reach into Chinese assets. No one's backing down. On the cyber front, new details are out about that Chinese hacking campaign across Europe. The group known as Ink Dragon has now been confirmed to have compromised networks in at least 4 European government agencies. Investigators say the group's been using those hijacked servers to launch attacks into Africa and Southeast Asia. Classic hot-point espionage tactics to disguise where the hacks are coming from. The malware they're using, called ShadowPad, was originally developed by Chinese state-backed operators and is now being modified to mimic legitimate web traffic. European cybersecurity teams are quietly furious. They're finding out their own government servers were being weaponized against allies. And in another interesting twist, that report we mentioned earlier about China's provincial intelligence bureaus running their own hacking operations. Turns out U.S. officials are paying close attention to that model. Analysts now believe this decentralized setup gives China resilience. If one provincial team gets burned, others keep operating independently. It's like cyber whack-a-mole with a national budget. Hainan still handles maritime espionage, Jiangsu still goes after aerospace data, and now new evidence shows Shanghai's bureau is zeroing in on Western AI companies. It's not elegant, but it's working. Inside China, the paranoia continues. The Ministry of State Security is doubling down on its bizarre campaign warning that foreign spies are using anime and video games to brainwash Chinese youth. It's turned into a week-long media crusade now. State TV ran segments claiming Western intelligence is embedding subliminal messages in anime storylines. One particularly over-the-top commentator said foreign agencies are weaponizing aesthetics. That's not the title of a Kanye album. It's an actual quote. The push fits Beijing's bigger trend of moral panic about digital culture. When you're censoring memes faster than missiles, it says a lot about what you fear most. And speaking of fear, China's telecom giant ZTE is sweating again. The U.S. Department of Justice confirmed it's deep in talks with ZTE over a possible billion-dollar fine tied to foreign bribery investigations. It's déjà vu from Trump's first term, when ZTE nearly collapsed under a $2 billion penalty for selling U.S. tech to Iran. The company says operations are normal and that it has zero tolerance for corruption, but investors aren't buying it. The stock's been sliding all week. Meanwhile, in the world of wheels and steel, Germany's luxury car makers are still getting smoked in China's market. Mercedes, BMW, Audi, they're all losing ground to Baidu, Xiaomi, and a flood of sleek electric vehicles from Chinese startups that update software faster than Netflix drops new series. Mercedes says it's launching 40 models in 2 years to fight back, but Beijing's EV juggernaut shows no signs of slowing. The irony's rich. Germany once symbolized industrial dominance, and now it's chasing China's tailpipes. And down in the Caribbean and Latin America, the standoff over Venezuela keeps tightening. China still hasn't sent aid to its old friend Nicolas Maduro, even as the U.S. blockade of Venezuelan oil tankers expands. Beijing's foreign minister offered verbal support and called the U.S. a unilateral bully, but stopped short of offering tangible help. It's a balancing act. China wants to look loyal without lighting up another fight with Washington. Thanks for being a part of the RH community. Subscribe, leave a positive comment or 5-star review, and most importantly, help build our network by sharing this.